Hey everybody, welcome to Cannabis and Tech Talks. We're chopping it up with Chuck, and I am sitting here with Bill Ludlow of CRATIV Packaging. How are you, Bill?
I'm doing good, Chuck. How are you today?
It's been a long event, huh?
Yes.
But how long have you been here?
We got here on Tuesday night to get set up, yeah, and then about to wrap it up here today. But it's been a great show.
Yeah. That's what everybody's been saying. You know, the feedback has been really good. They said a lot of business is getting done here, and I guess that's the whole point of the trade shows, right?
Exactly.
So tell our audience a little bit about you know, kind of who you guys are, and I know that you're really focusing on sustainability. So just let us know kind of briefly, like, you know, why sustainability, and you know, tell us about CRATIV.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm the founder and CEO of CRATIV Packaging, and we're founded specifically with the cannabis industry in mind, as far as, you know, developing and designing and manufacturing child-resistant packaging that was really specifically developed for cannabis. I think we're really the first company that developed a product, you know, based on the design inputs for cannabis. I went out and I measured a bunch of edibles and kind of put a design matrix together, and then looked at other design factors, you know, such as the need for branding, regulatory, you know, labeling requirements, and came up with kind of a form factor, a square, you know, child-resistant hard-shell form factor that's a little bit different than anything else. But it is made out of plastic, and we've been getting a lot of pushback from the cannabis community about, you know, can you make it out of tin? Can you make it out of hemp? Can you make it out of something different? Yeah. And we haven't had the greatest answer. And so I decided that we needed to grab onto that. I can't claim to have all the answers today, but I can claim that we're gonna you know, stand up and own that challenge.
Sure.
And we've established a new mantra for our company that is, we are environmentally conscious, child safe, and champions for cannabis.
So what's the process look like behind the scenes? So you get some feedback, and you know, you guys have some ideas of how you want to innovate in the space and stuff like that. And then just take us briefly, like how does that happen? Do you have like an R&D team? Are you like on a whiteboard, you know, coming up with ideas? How does the genius behind the scenes happen in your products?
Yeah, sure. So we are you know, engineers by training. I'm a mechanical engineer, and we do have engineers that we work with, and I think, you know, part of it is just being very aware of, you know, what is happening in the industry. You know, CRATIV has been around for, I think our first MJBiz was in 2016. So we're about a 4.5-year-old company, launched in March of 2016. And the amount of innovation that has happened in child-resistant packaging, specific for the cannabis industry, has just been amazing. You're going to see innovation specifically around child-resistant packaging in the next, you know, 5 to 10 years. Will be the most innovative time ever in child-resistant packaging. It's going to be around different mechanisms, right? You know, companies looking at other companies. You know, how can I, you know, do something similar? What's successful? What's not? And then I think, you know, the cannabis industry has brought a level of awareness to sustainability. Yeah, I think it's a group of people that are, you know, very aware of, and probably a little bit more, you know, really want to drive toward, you know, the answer in that. You know, sustainability, we know, is a huge problem, not just in cannabis today, but cannabis is bringing an extra level of awareness to it. You know,
it seems like the cannabis industry is kind of a little more holistic, a little more, you know what I mean? So it would be a natural fit.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But if you look around, you know, you walk into a grocery store or a drugstore or whatever. My wife and I were just commenting this morning about the little, you know, lotion and shampoo bottles, you know, that when you check into a hotel, about the, you know, the packaging waste there. It's just all around us.
So much waste. Hotels are incredible, as you know, casinos, you know, all these areas where there's just a ton of, you know, use once and throw away.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break here, but we just wanted to remind you that this episode of Cannabis and Tech Talks is brought to you by STM Canna, your source for some of the best tech in the cannabis industry, including the Rocket Box and the new grinder, the Revolution. So what about packaging that like adults can't get into? Because there's so many different forms of child-resistant packaging. I've had stuff before that a apparently I'm not smart enough to figure out how to operate, and then finally you just have to like rip it open and destroy it, to get to what's inside. What's that all about?
Right. So, yeah, that's actually really interesting. The process for certifying a package as being child resistant, it's actually a federal law that you have to go through. There's a protocol that's specified where you have to test it with 50 children, ages 3 to 5. A certain amount are little girls, a certain amount are little boys, and they get 5 minutes to try to open it.
Yeah.
And if they can't open it in that first 5 minutes, then an adult has to show them how to open it, and then they get another 5 minutes to try to open it. And if they don't open it in that full 10-minute period, then it's a pass, and you have to pass. 90% of those kids have to pass. So you're actually allowed a certain amount of failure, which is why it's child resistant and not child proof.
Child proof,
which is that's not actually the correct term in the industry of child.
There's always some little genius kid who can figure it out.
Or they're allowed to stomp on it or throw it or whatever. They can do whatever they want. But then the other part of that test is called the Senior Adult Use Effectiveness Test. And basically what that piece of the test is, you have to have 100 adults, and they have to be able to get the package open within 5 minutes with instructions. And then they have to open a second sample within 2 minutes. So they're testing the ability for an adult to repeat that.
Wow.
The population of that requirements for that test is a group of adults that are ages 50 to 70. And a large population of that sample has to be women ages 60 to 70. So it's a challenging.
And is this a federal regulation, or are they state, or?
It is for child resistant packaging. It is a federal regulation. It's actually it's 16 CFR 1700.20. So it's a code of federal regulations. Some states have actually, for cannabis, some states have actually adopted that regulation and written it into their state regulations for child-resistant packaging. Not all states have done that. Some states have different specifications for what it means to be child-resistant, and some states just say child-resistant, but they don't really put any definition behind it. So there's still a lot of interpretation in the cannabis industry today about what child-resistant means, which product modalities have to be in child-resistant packaging. But back to your original question, to make sure that you've got child-resistant packaging that adults can get into is a challenge. But you have to think back to, in 1970 when President Nixon signed into law the Child Poison Prevention Packaging Act, which is when all of the protocol and everything came into place. It was probably a similar level of frustration to consumers on how do I get this push and turn medicine bottle open. Now today, we all are used to that. We know how to do it. But now you've got a lot of new and interesting methods and designs of child-resistant packaging. So it's going to take time to kind of learn for people to learn how to do that.
But it's important that we've got brands like yours that are innovating and kind of leading the way, because we want to make sure.
The show floor will be closing in 15 minutes.
Yeah, there are so many happy exhibitors right now.
They're
doing the Snoopy dance. They're like,
exactly. Yes, let's get out of here.
But no, it's important for you guys to kind of lead the charge so that you're not reacting to what regulations say you need to do, but you're kind of above and beyond, right? Just making sure that it works and that it's effective and it's good for the consumers. And is that kind of the thought process?
Absolutely. So my background is medical device manufacturing, and that's kind of come from a very regulated industry. And even in some cases where child resistant may not be required for flour, for instance, there's some states like California where flour has to be in child-resistant packaging until it's open, and then after it's opened, just have to say this package is not child-resistant after opening. There's a lot of different things happening, but there's companies, even CBD, where child-resistant packaging is not required at this time. There are companies that are grabbing onto it because they believe that that's an extra level of protection that they need to have, just purely from a liability standpoint. And as well, it's a marketing tool too. We go above and beyond the regulations. We believe that it's important that that children stay out of this.
It's like websites too. I noticed some of them that say like, are you above 18? And then you click it and you can go in. And if you accidentally hit no, then you have to go back out and do it all again.
Exactly.
I don't know how effective that is,
right.
but at least they're trying to do something.
Yeah,
is that kind of what it is?
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, so any final thoughts or anything, from the show or stuff that you guys got going on, later this year or anything like that?
Yeah, so I mean, we continue to innovate. I want to applaud all of the other watching again the number of packaging companies that are here versus the number of packaging companies that were at MJBiz in Vegas in 2016. It's just amazing to see all of the innovation going on. So I really like to applaud and collaborate.
Do you go check them out?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's interesting. There's kind of a
brotherhood.
Yeah, brotherhood of child-resistant packaging.
Yeah.
At least amongst some of us, and we like to talk and just be friendly, and so I applaud that, and so that's been fun to see that here at this show.
Awesome. Well, we'll look for more great stuff from CRATIV, and really appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you again.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to Cannabis and Tech Talks. If you like this podcast, make sure that you subscribe and share with your friends. And don't forget to check us out on iTunes, iHeartRadio, iPhones, anything with an I, you can find us there as Cannabis and Tech Talks.